right now without making the deal very complicated.
I also think the Canucks can afford to be more pragmatic than the Habs on two levels. One, um, the Habs, I've used this term with the Flames before, but I do think that is a bit of a damaged brand in Montreal. You had the situation with Logan Mailloux last year, which was a tremendous PR disaster for the Canadians, as well. You've got the potentially, and I bring this up potentially because of what Devin has said. The draft is supposed to be in Montreal next year, but depending on, and Gary Bettman did say this at the All-Star break, if things don't change, they may have to consider moving it. So if you're Montreal, you need to acquire draft picks, and you need to make sure that you're in the middle of things pretty quick, and that you're in a midst of announcing your fans base that you're in a rebuild. The Canucks, you can debate where they are at or not, but I don't think they need to be in a hurry to make any trades to put themselves in any. I think they have put themselves in a position to give them time to make the proper decision. And I think one of the things that I think with Patrick Allvin that this seems to be the first thing that I've noticed is he's not really sharing the spotlight, and people are forgetting he's the general manager. But I think he has an opportunity here to be pragmatic. And I think for the Canucks overall, I think the previous regime was in panic mode, was in Peter Chiarelli mode. I think right now you can just let's stay calm. You don't have to trade Miller now. You don't have to make any trades now. You can actually go through that deadline, and I don't think you can. I think there's a reasonable argument to say, we can just leave it as is and hope, and we'll see where we're at, and we'll wait for the offseason.
Yeah, and we don't want to have a situation where they get pressured into making a deal just for the sake of making a deal to keep the fans happy somehow, right? Like that's the pressure point of doing an in-season move with a deadline to meet that causes me some concern that they end up making a deal that they regret. Whereas in the off season, and a lot more cap flexibility amongst the teams to make deals, they could probably get a better sale on a guy like a JT Miller than they might during the season. So, I would hope that the Canucks do take the approach of selling at the deadline and make good deals, but not be rushed into making one just for the sake of optics.